All right, I think we're live. The internet connection doesn't seem to be too great right now. All right, let's see if this is better. Is this is the stream visible? It's okay. All right. Well, if it's okay, then it's good. But I'm getting all sorts of red lights here. That is not great. I'm 1 minute late. Come on. I'm 1 minute late. Let's see what came in. S&P 500. Whether I think it's what did you say, Mr. King? Welcome to the stream, everybody. By the way, hope you're all doing great. We're going to be taking a look at all the inflation rate data, of course. It's coming in 8 minutes. I will quickly pin the link to this website in the chat because this stream, like every stream, has a delay. So if you watch that website, you'll get it ASAP. But yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at inflation rate CPI data. I think that matters a lot. I think we're going to see some pretty major volatility. Maybe not after the data. Maybe 1 hour later when the US market actually opens. But regardless of that, it's going to be important, all right? So that's why I wanted to make a quick live stream, watching the news live, but also doing some sort of a commentary afterwards. S&P 500, or at least S&P 500 futures right now so far, has been relatively weak, to be fair. I mean, we obviously had this major move yesterday evening, and since then it's been a bit weak. So I still think there's a possibility we fill some of this imbalance. Might be dependent on the news we'll get in about 6.5 minutes, but that's I mean, across the board. If you take a look at Bitcoin, same thing, and we talked about this morning as well, of course. I mean, we have left some major imbalances here to the downside. It's very possible, especially if we get higher than entire imbalance, right? So if you still have positions open at this point of time, I would look. In the end, it's your decision, but I would at least know that it's possible that we're going to get a big move down. All right, if this data is not good, it might just be a spike, but that is a possibility. Would I invest in XRP at the moment? No. XRP right now, no. I mean, XRP here, I would either want to see something like this, so that we break down below 1.95 and reclaim it, and then buy afterwards, or a breakout above 2.07. Then I will buy. But right now, there's no major strength today either. So at this point of time, I would not buy. I just wouldn't buy. Fun story though, I actually had limit orders right here at 1.65, so that would have been the absolute bottom. And the morning that this price hit, I gave a signal to delete the orders for now. There's a lot of uncertainty in the markets. We might spike down lower. So that was an unfortunate decision because I mean, ultimately that was the perfect bottom. But that happens sometime, and that's also the most difficult part in trading. That when shit actually hits the fan, and there goes the monetization, that you still stick to your positions or stick to the levels where you actually want to buy. I have no expectation, by the way, on the CPI or inflation rate data. The last inflation rate data I think we had, but correct me if I'm wrong, was actually better than expected. But it's just unpredictable, all right? And it should, like, I think we have a good chance to get some good data. I mean, it's expected that it's going to be 0.2% lower, or at least lower across the board. In only the CPI isn't, because I mean, inflation is still there. It's just decreasing year on year. But like tariffs also, tariffs so far should not have an impact on this. So I have good hope we can get some good data. But we also do need some good data, I'd say. So it's going to be, there's quite a lot of pressure on this. Yeah, Roman, it's multiple things. I mean, sometimes you have some good news after our market goes lower. Very often it's also shorts closing and late longers being forced out. There's a huge amount of possibilities why the market goes up before it goes down lower. In general, the market always tries to find balance, right? So when the market goes lower, it's most likely, unless, well, in crypto you actually do see it sometimes, but it's quite likely that buyers will kind of test the seller's conviction, and if that seller's conviction is still there, then we're going to drop down lower. That's just normal price action, and that's why we still, even when the market is bearish, we still actually have some bullish momentum in there as well. We'll talk about some altcoins after the news, everyone. After the news, we'll make some time to actually talk about some altcoins that are interesting. There are some interesting altcoins right now. I mean, most altcoins are obviously still correlated to the markets, but Baby right here is actually is actually super bullish right here. I was looking at it this what is it, like this after this weekend, I think, or this Monday. Did not do anything with it because I cannot trade it. It's none of my exchanges, but very interesting. Usual is still quite interesting here. In terms of volume, at least. Hedera, also, I saw someone talking about it in the chat. Volume is actually pretty decent. So, yeah. RSR, or reserve rights, it's at resistance, but it actually looks quite good. I checked the chart out not too long ago, so I know what it looks like. Hedera is actually quite strong right here. That's interesting. I mean, the main level for Hedera is quite clear right here. It's this level right here at 18 cents. If we're going to be able to break above that, I mean, the volume right now, to be fair with you, is quite low. So I wouldn't trust this price action too much. But if we can actually get there, or if we can actually reclaim 18 cents, for now it just looks like a great short area, to be fair. But if we can reclaim that, then that would be great. Still 2 minutes for the news. I sent the link. The link it should be pinned in the chat of the stream, so you can watch it yourself. Because if you watch it during the live stream, that's obviously very nice. We can watch it together, and there's some sort of hype before it. But you will get it a bit later. If you go to the website, you'll get it instantly, or at least very, very soon. Yeah, I know it was listed on Binance. What is it? Babylon, I think, where the name of the project is, was also listed on Upbit this morning. That also caused quite a lot of volatility. But in general, I mean, I checked the project out really briefly. It's I don't know if trading it right now, there's a lot of volatility, but I'm not sure if trading a volatile coin like that is necessarily what we want to do this Thursday afternoon. I won't analyze stocks in this video, but I was thinking, and I'm very interested in what you all think about it. But I am thinking about opening another channel for some stock analysis. I wouldn't post as much as on this channel, of course, but just make, like, every other day, make 3 videos on the most interesting stocks. I thought it would be a good idea because, I mean, personally, I was looking at some stock analysis on YouTube. 40 minutes, by the way. But even though there's some people that I think are, well, they're at least gaining views, but I do think that we're missing some more good technical analysis, which good technical analysis combined with some fundamental analysis as well. But let me know what you think about that. I mean, it's still in the ideation phase, but still. Here you can see we just got a tweet by Donald Trump about the tax cut bill. Here you can see 8 seconds before the major news. A quick prediction. I think we're going to see something like this. Quick prediction, but we'll see. All right, news is out. We'll see. I think the news is good. Bitcoin is moving up here. It could just be short-term price action. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Very good news. Very good news. I might actually long some Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin is not really reacting to that news much, but this is good news. Inflation rate is 2.4%, core inflation rate is 2.8%, CPI is much lower than expected. This is actually pretty good. I might scalp long Bitcoin here, even though it's high risk, of course, and it's never great to to do it while the price is moving. But it's looking pretty decent here. I mean, it's always, look, it's height of the moment right here, so I wouldn't do too many crazy things. But this news is good. No, I'm not going to long Bitcoin. It's it's not according to my it's not according to my strategy. But this is good news for those of you watching. Core inflation rate across the board is much lower than expected. They already expected that it would be lower than previously, so that there would be some sort of a decrease. But now you can see, just for those of you who maybe tuned in a little bit later, CPI is lower than expected. CPI SA is lower than expected. Inflation rate month on month is actually negative. That's what you call deflation. Core inflation rate year on year lower than expected. Core inflation rate month on month is lower than expected. Inflation rate year on year also lower than expected. And then continuing jobless claims were also lower than expected. That's a little bit bearish, but ultimately that doesn't matter much. So overall, the data so far has been very good. The reaction from the markets has not been very good, which is very interesting. I'm not sure if the stock market is actually reacting to this better. No, stock market is also not reacting much. So that's interesting. But I want to know what everyone's saying right now. I haven't bought, by the way. It's like usually like the when news like this usually is going to send the markets, it's going to send it very, very quickly. All right, and right now the markets are relatively quiet. So I'm not there's not enough confidence or there's not enough strength for me that I want to buy Bitcoin. I have some limits a little bit lower, just in pure disclosure. But right now, I first want to see that US that US opening, or that New York stock market opening in about an hour. So far, the data is good, right? Because we want the inflation rate to go down. But still, it's not good enough right now for me to consider an entry. And you can see right here as well. I mean, there's definitely volatility in the markets, and altcoins are actually quite strong. Altcoins are stronger than Bitcoin on this on this data. But even this, I mean, this looks major, but if you zoom all the way out, this is also not that major. So very interesting price action here. It's I'm not sure what to say about this. I mean, there's basically two scenarios here. It's 1 hour before the New York opening right now, so 1 hour before the US stock markets open. It could either be that we have some sort of a major lagged reaction, so that we actually, when the US stock market opens, we have a big move up. It could also be that that this news is at this point of time used to sell off some late positions into late longers, or people who are longing into this news, and that those late longers have to exit their positions, and that we actually see something like this into the New York opening, fill all those imbalances, and then later on actually see that move up. I'm personally slightly leaning towards expecting something like this. I know it sounds weird, but historically, when you see a weak reaction to very good news, it's not a great sign, all right? And that doesn't mean that we're going to turn bearish, but that does mean that I think it's slightly more likely we're actually going to get some sort of a move down here. That's my thoughts for now. But those I'm still in the middle of processing this data and processing what I see on the charts right here. It's very interesting data nonetheless. But you can also see that the balance right here today is still very tight. And we have all these imbalances to the downside. Yeah, Laura, that is a possibility. It could 100% be a lag reaction, and that when the US stock market opens, we will instantly shoot up. Is a possibility, but it's a bit risky right now. Tech info, I do not believe that, but I do not believe that actually happens. But it's not out of the question, I think. And yeah, Mr. King, it's very strange that Bitcoin relies so much on inflation rate data. It's also not great. I mean, I would have preferred that Bitcoin would have been correlated to gold. Then we would have had an amazing bull run. But unfortunately, maybe with the ETF, it's not correlated to gold that much. It's much more correlated to the capital markets, of course, so that's why it's happening. But Bitcoin, I mean, you're saying Bitcoin is deflationary, but Bitcoin isn't deflationary, right? It's actually inflationary. It's just less and less inflationary, I think. But the inflation rate data, for those of you tuning in later, first of all, welcome. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're having a great Thursday. That's most important, of course. But the data is good. We had lower than expected data across the board. I think Trump is actually going to be tweeting about this as well. Not yet, but the data is good across the board so far. Weak reaction from Bitcoin. So that means two things. We either, when the US stock market opens, we have a laggy reaction and we move up to the POC at least, also filling that CME gap we made after last Friday at 84,000. That's one possibility. Or we're going to fill all those imbalances here to the downside. You can see we actually have a single print all the way down at the weekly opening right here at 78,400. So it's one of those, well, not necessarily all the way down, but at least fill some of these imbalances before moving back up and moving up. Because I ultimately think, regardless of how the market reacts to this news, this is bullish news, all right? This is very bullish. It's just that right now, like, markets do not always behave efficiently, right? I mean, markets can actually, like we could get this bullish effects from this next week. We could still be bearish into Friday. That's all a possibility, and it's just up to us to position ourselves in the best way. I mean, the market is difficult, all right? Don't forget, 95% of traders lose money. It is very difficult to make money in these markets, so it's never going to be easy. And this is an example of that. Good data across the board doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go up, even though, like I said, I'm not fully ruling it out yet. Mel and Gijs, I covered Cardano 2 days ago. I think that's still, well, I mean, Cardano, it has changed slightly, I think. Cardano right now is looking slightly better. It looks, it actually looks more likely that, well, we still need to reclaim like 63.5 pair, but I think Cardano has a good chance to get back into this value area right here. Beautiful drawing, I know. Short term, but that's also still slightly dependent on Bitcoin, of course. A C wave in wave 4 for XRP. Look, I'm not proficient on Elliott wave theory. It's not something I use a lot. But how would you see that? You say an ABC in the fourth wave. So then I would assume, no, yeah, is this like a fourth wave down, you mean, then, before some sort of a fifth wave into $4 or something? And then an ABC. Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but like I said, I mean, I don't use Elliott wave theory that much. I mean, for me, the way XRP looks is that it's trying to get into this range. Now, in your way of thinking, this could obviously be an ABC, right? If we drop down below 1.95 and we're unable to reclaim that, that is a possibility. But for now, I still think that fundamentals matter a little bit more, and that fundamentally it's more likely that 1.95 is going to hold and that we can actually get a reclaim into 2.07. Yeah, 5.6. It's possible, but that's relatively high, I'd say. Mr. Matt, we are using real technical analysis. It might not be the technical analysis that... oh, you're talking about Elliott wave. Listen, everybody has their own analysis style. You have to do what works for you. All right. Personally, for me, Elliott wave just doesn't really give me all the data that I want, and it's a bit subjective to me. I do know about it, but it's I mean, listen. I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of great traders who use Elliott wave theory, who I respect a lot. So completely writing it off, it's not what I do. It's just not. It's personally just not my style, and that's fine. All right. Like I said, you have to do what works for you. Should you sell your Bitcoin? No. It depends on the entry price, but no. I think Bitcoin is still an amazing asset. I think it is. The S&P did not do a major move, right, Mr. King? Or is the market already closed? No, I mean it's a pretty minor move. Or do you mean the move we had yesterday? The move yesterday was actually much higher in the equity markets than Bitcoin, I think. And what you can see right here, I mean, what we had last week is that crypto was actually relatively strong. Wow, I screamed into the microphone. Bitcoin was actually relatively strong yesterday. We saw a Coinbase Bitcoin premium here, for example. There's no sign of that this week, all right? So I don't expect Bitcoin to outperform the stock markets. Yesterday. I mean, it's kind of the same stuff. Like the equity markets also left some major imbalances, and Bitcoin isn't stronger than the stock markets right now. USIPI, I mean, I don't know your full situation. I mean, if you have DCA'd into Bitcoin, I would say no, just continue DCAing into Bitcoin. If you bought at 80,000, I would also just hold it, all right? But if you put all your money that you want to put into Bitcoin right here at 81,000, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I'd always keep some money on the side to DCA lower, especially right now. When if you take a look at the general market here, for example, if you take a look at others, there's absolutely no sign yet that the bearish pressure is over. This is still in a downtrend, all right? And we should not forget that, even though the market looks a bit better right here, we shouldn't forget that we are technically still in a downtrend. And unless we have confirmed that we are out of that downtrend, I would continue DCAing. And if you have used up all your DCA funds, I do think that's a mistake. XRP holdings into SUI, no. No, I wouldn't. Listen, I'm not sure if SUI has greater growth potential. I mean, SUI also has a super overvalued market cap. I think SUI looks a little bit stronger here on the short term, so you could try to balance out your positions a little bit more in the short term. But ultimately, like when we're talking about XRP or Ripple as a company and their valuation, and then SUI as a network and their valuation, I might even say that Ripple is actually more fairly valued, even though both of them are not, according to traditional values at least, fairly valued. Zane, I'm a huge fan of Sonic, of their network at least. When we're taking a look at the technicals here, though, I mean, we hit this major support level here at 39 cents. I actually do think it's most likely we're going to go up. We have a POC right here at 50 cents. That seems to be kind of the bearish line in the sand that we need to reclaim that before we can go for those highs right here towards 60 cents, but I do think it's most likely. Look, short term, we can be massively volatile. Something like this is a possibility, but I do think Sonic is going to go up. I mean, Sonic is one of the only projects right now that I'm actually still fairly optimistic about, because that TVL growth is absolutely great. Well, great English. Although it's stalled for the last 2 weeks, which doesn't matter, but still. I'm not sure if the bull run will start in a quarter of three in Q3 Arcanda. Personally, I mean, it's a possibility, but right now, like, and this might make me a little bit more unpopular or unpopular with some of you. But personally, I don't think we're ever going to see a bull market again as what we saw back in 2017 or 2020. I mean, when we talk about 2020, for example, the market caps were way lower. We had massive quantitative easing. If we go to 2017, the market caps were even lower. I mean, for the market caps in 2017, I mean, I'll show you right here. They were pretty ridiculous. I mean, you can, I cannot, no, it's not even on this chart right here. Yeah, you can see it right here. No, this was 2020. So 2020, when the bull market started, the total market cap was at 40 billion. Right now, the total market cap, after all the bearish pressure we've had, is at 200. And when you go all the way down to, if you go all the way back to 2017 right here, the total market cap was at 10 billion, all right? So right now, we are at 20x the total market cap we had at the start of the second bull market. So I don't think we're going to get a bull market like we have seen in the past. Can we get a massive uptrend in Q3? Yes. Do I expect that? Yes. But it's not going to be easy, all right? You cannot just buy every altcoin and it's going to work out. You have to be selective. You have to find the right narratives, and you have to get some good entries, right? And if you're able to do that, I still think you can make massive money in crypto, but you do have to become really good, all right? Like I said, it's not easy anymore, and in general, making money in these markets is not easy anymore right now. And there's a lot of liquidity going into meme coins as well. Indeed, there's been mass extraction from there. Doge for the long run, no. I think Dogecoin has lost most of its catalysts. And again, I mean, I don't want to upset the Dogecoin community, but most of you know, I mean, I say what I really think. And when we go back to Dogecoin and we talk about everything that made it rally, I think most of those things have been exhausted. All right, one of the main things that made it rally was Elon Musk, and he's definitely not pulling the volume anymore or pulling the markets anymore like he used to. So I don't think it's amazing. Gustavo, I know Arkham. I use Arkham quite a bit. I'm not sure what the price is doing right now. I mean, we can have a brief look here. Well, not great. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, Arkham is a pretty decent project. I think 40 cents here, which is the bottom for now. I think that is a strong bottom, and I'd say, I mean, as long as Bitcoin remains relatively stable, I think that bottom is going to hold, but I don't see enough strength. There's not a lot of volume coming in here from the bottoms for me to say that this is going to turn bullish. So purely technically, I'd say maybe get some sort of a short squeeze up, but ultimately I think down into 30 cents is most likely for Arkham. Unfortunately, maybe if we get some sort of AI narrative, maybe then we can expect some strength. But right now, technically, there's nothing. I'd say Filecoin. I don't really have an opinion on that. It can do great. Like every time the market is very, very bullish, it will do amazing, and that's also what you can see right here. But I think long term, it's not a great asset to pick. I believe there still is a lot of token inflation, or supply inflation, I should say, and which I think you can see right here. And in general, it's not really part of a hype narrative. It's not really like the project. There is real utility, but that utility doesn't really do anything for the token like it is doing with Hyperliquid. So even though, look, I fully agree. Like it's a good project, but is it good to hold? Is it good to buy? I think not. But I'm very strict with what I buy, right? I barely buy anything long term anymore. It has to be really good, and I have to know, all right, well, this is going to happen in the future. That's going to make the price of the token go up. And with Filecoin, I mean, maybe if we get some sort of a storage narrative that could do it, but we don't have that right now. So therefore, I wouldn't buy it. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Leo, thank you for joining the stream. I did a video on Solana, a very detailed video on Solana this morning. I think that's best to watch. I mean, I cannot go over everything right now in this video. Yeah, IP story, it's very weak. IP broke out yesterday, but it instantly, like, the volume was low. It instantly dropped back down into a previous range, so it's a bit of a manipulated coin, so it can definitely do great again. But right now, this is not a coin I'm interested in, and I'd say it's most likely we're going to drop down lower, unless we're able to reclaim like 4.3. But there's no indication of that. A lot of requests coming in, guys. I'm going to have to end the stream. I have to make I have to prepare for the New York opening. I have to make a video for that as well. But if you want to have some coins analyzed, I might be able to analyze some coins in the middle of the day market updates. So make sure to join the Telegram or the Discord and tag me in there, and request what you want to see, and I'll try to put it in the market updates, so I can still cover it. And in general, every request I see. And I try to make videos, or at least I try to analyze every crypto that's requested. It's not always possible, as you might expect, because I get a lot of requests. However, that's it for today. I have to get to some preparation. Quick recap. inflation rate and CPI data was as expected, but because of the US session coming up, which is usually, especially the New York opening, is quite volatile, but also in combination with in general the fundamentals of the markets and the imbalances to the upside, I'd say short term it's more likely we're going to get some sort of a move down, and then hopefully recover from there. I think it's most likely to recover from there and get some more bullish momentum. But that is something I'll keep you updated on. For now, that's it. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your time. I'd still say be safe, all right? Especially right now that we still have these imbalances. Be safe for some massive volatility in the next 2 hours. As long as you're that, I think some good trading times are coming up, all right? So that's at least something nice to look forward to. But that's it for now. So thank you all for being here. I'll see you all in my middle of the day market updates, which I'm uploading, I think, in about 1.5 hours, hopefully. And otherwise in my next videos, in the Telegram chat, in the Discord group. I'll see you there. For now.